All right, so I know we talked about stimulus checks on Friday, and I promise you, this entire podcast is not around just stimulus checks. I know when we talk about COVID-19 and economic stimulus, there's a whole lot more that goes into this conversation beyond just stimulus checks. But just stay with me here for a second. I promise you, in the next segment of the show, we're going to talk about something other than stimulus checks. But right now, I want to talk about stimulus checks because there's been some information that has come out that I think needs to be addressed. Quite frankly, in the short time that this information has been out, I haven't really seen it talked about in the media. Other than the initial kind of projections and kind of guesstimations and stuff in the very beginning. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about what Americans spent their stimulus checks on, what they did with their stimulus checks. In the very beginning, I don't know if you were paying attention to the conversation, but we had politicians that would get on the TV or the radio or other forms of media, and they would talk about how, especially when they would talk about how stimulating the economy needs to be targeted. They would talk about how that targeting needed to happen even with the American consumer. Consumers needed to target their spending dollars in very specific ways. And they needed to do that because if you let the average American do what they wanted to do, they would just do something stupid. Okay? Notice here, consider everything that we've talked about in the very short time that this podcast has been relaunched. Consider kind of the running theme and assumption regarding the average everyday American consumer. You guys are too stupid. You don't know what to do with the $600. You don't know what to do with stimulus checks. You see that? But these companies know exactly what to do. Exactly what to do. We're going to talk about that in segment 2. But the running theme, kind of going